once we get that right, which is for me the most important thing, that they have, first of all, respect. The second one is commitment. The third one, passion. Those three ingredients are non-negotiable.
Hello and welcome into the Non-Negotiables podcast. I'm Gavin and I'm here tonight with Pascal. How you doing, Paz?
How's it going, Gav?
Good, mate. Good. Well, a little bonus episode for you today because we didn't get a chance to really talk about the Forest game yesterday when we were doing the preview pod. So we figured we'd come on and do it again tonight. So, Paz, I think for the first time in God knows how long, I really can't name this starting 11.
Yeah, it's not. I think it was a lot easier the first game of last season, definitely. But yeah, and that's I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we think Ramsdale's going to start, right? I haven't heard anything about Raya being done yet. I don't know if you've heard anything or not. I haven't really been able to catch up with much this afternoon, but I think even if Raya was permanent, we'd expect Ramsdale to start, right?
Yeah. I think it's a done deal, but I think from what I've seen,
I think the paperwork had to be in by midday, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they did it in time.
Okay,
that was the thing. So he wouldn't. I doubt he's going to even be on the bench. But I agree with you. Even if he was or wasn't,
could be Runnison on the bench. That'd be fun.
Well, let's just hope Ramsdale doesn't get any injuries or any sendings off or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was, but yeah, I think even if he was there, I would think Ramsdale starts.
Yeah. I don't think there's any chance there's anything else. Not for tomorrow at least. Right back, we both got Ben White, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then Gabriel and Saliba. There was a rumor that went round that Gabriel was actually injured. But the report that I read this afternoon said that he is actually at the team hotel. So
right.
I don't know if there's anything there or not. But I mean, if he's not, it'll just be Kivior coming in. Kivior,
yeah, unless, which I doubt, Zinchenko plays and then Timber drops in. But I think it would be Kivior, yeah, because I don't think Zinchenko's playing.
No, and I think that left-sided centre back, I think it would be Kivior anyway, right? I mean, he's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Foot,
yeah,
so
you're right. You're right.
I think that'd be Kivior regardless. And then obviously left back, we just said it there. It's going to be Timber.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Zinchenko is available, then that would be definitely one that would probably be debating on whether Timber starts, but from what I'm seeing, he's not, even though Arteta said there was a clean bill of health besides Jesus. So I'm a bit confused on that one. Maybe it's one of those you don't really want to analyze too much, but I would think it's Timber.
Zinchenko was definitely training today.
Yeah, I heard
training
that.
pictures. So he was definitely training. But honestly, I think with him having no pre-season really at all, I don't think he'd have started tomorrow anyway, even if he is past fit. I think you'd be more likely to be on the bench than actually starting.
Yeah. So I would say Timber, yeah.
And then we get to the part of the team that I think we just don't know about yet, basically. I mean, so I think he's going to play Partey, Odegaard, and Rice. Is what I think he's going to play. Do you agree with that, or can you see Rice maybe starting on?
Yeah, I think it's the same as last week. To be honest, I don't see any indication or reason why he changes it.
Well, it's just, I mean, a lot of this is going to revolve around who goes up top too, because I kind of expect it to be Trossard, but then I think he wants to play Havertz and he wants to play Rice, and the easiest way to do that right now is to play Havertz up top. It wouldn't shock me if it was Eddie playing up top for this one because it is Forest. It also wouldn't shock me if he thought this would be a good game to really try out Havertz in that midfield role, because if that is the plan, then at some point he's got to start playing there. So I do think there's quite a lot of options here. There's a lot of permutations we could use.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. Just something speaks the same team for me.
Do you think he's going to start Havertz up top, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he starts him up top. I think that question comes into play when Jesus is back, more than anything. Maybe Trossard is on the left instead of Martinelli.
I
Possibly.
don't think so. I don't think so.
No, that's why I don't. That's why I said possibly. I honestly think he's putting the same team out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Martinelli. I've heard a few things about this, about Martinelli and Trossard are going to rotate. I personally don't think they will. I think that's Martinelli's role. You might see Martinelli get a game off here and there, before or after big Champions League games or whatever. But I think that's Martinelli's role. He made it his own, and I just don't think he's going to rotate like that with Trossard.
No.
I think Trossard's going to come on.
No, that's why I don't know. It just seems to me that he's sticking with it, and I think with it being Forest, I don't think he's going to overthink it too much for this one. I think he's just going to think it worked against City, in the extent that we had played a good game, or most of the players in there. I think everyone put a shift in. So I think he's going to look at that and make that the team against Forest. To be honest, I think for this game, it hasn't been one that I've thought, I don't know what team he puts out. But I think for this season, absolutely. I think we're going to have those, especially when we've got everyone in the team. When Jesus is back, it's going to be very interesting then to see what he does. But I don't see him changing it from that game.
I think for me, it was just more, it's how much he wants to get Havertz bedded into that midfield role, if that's where he's going to use him, And I think games like this at home against a side you should beat are really good games to get that bedded in. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be trying it for the first time against Man United or against Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah, and there could be an argument that the Partey Rice combo was more a protectional measure when they were playing City, because it's City. Now we're playing Forest at home. Forest have an awful record away. We have a good record at home. The argument would be more expansive. That's a fair point. And so therefore you could think that way. But I don't know. I think he's going the same. But if things don't develop in the game, absolutely he's going to start changing that around completely, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling that tomorrow we might actually see a couple of different things tried during this game, regardless of how it's going. It wouldn't surprise me if on the hour mark you saw a couple on, couple off, and you did see Havertz.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Havertz in midfield at some point tomorrow, whether it's from the start or whether it's on the hour when Trossard comes on and moves into that centre forward role. I do think we're going to see Havertz at some point tomorrow in midfield.
It's possible. And we could see Smith Rowe come on as well. Maybe give him more of a game. Who knows? I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we're at home this time. So the last few seasons, when was the last time we played at home?
Last year was Palace away.
Yeah.
Year before was Brentford away. What was the year before? I can't remember the year before that. We always used to be at home opening day all the time. I mean, we went for a spell because we've got a good record on opening day, but we went for a spell being at home on opening day all the time. Remember, Villa at home, Palace at home. We had a couple of late scares. Remember, we needed Ramsey to bail us out one game, and even the first game at the Emirates actually was a home game opening day.
That was the last minute. It was Gilberto
that got the leveller in the last minute.
Yeah, I think, and also in Emery's second season, I remember us playing Newcastle away. That was right. I think was it?
That was when Pepe. That was Pepe's debut, and he looked really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah. But I can't remember Teta's first.
I'm not sure what we did that one, but it is nice to be at home now. It's important to have a good start. I don't want to talk about it too much, but obviously City won tonight. Bored the pants off me. I actually turned the game off halfway through because I was just bored of it. But yeah, so it is vital that we get off to a good start.
Without again going into, but I don't think there's. I'm not reading too much into that game.
Oh no, not at all. They
You
beat
know,
a
this kind of
promoted side who
it's
had
going
a
to be a
couple of
walk in the
chances
park.
early on.
Huh?
They beat a promoted side who even had a couple of chances early on. So I'm not buying anything. I didn't see second half, but I'm not reading too much into that. You expected them to win it, right? And they won it. You expect us to win tomorrow, so we got to go do it.
That's it.
So do you think Matt Turner starts for them tomorrow? I guess he kind of has to, right? I don't know they've got anyone.
He will,
else.
and he'll pull an absolute blinder.
Turns into an octopus and just keeps out 54 shots.
He will be Pele on the ball, and he'll be prime Walter Zaga, or what was the Italian goalkeeper, the famous one from back in the day? I've forgotten his name, but whoever is going to be amazing tomorrow. It's going to be one of his best performances he's ever done, and it's just inevitable, isn't it?
Well, we had a bit of luck facing our old goalkeepers, though, the last couple of years. And we remember Leno made that horrific error at Fulham, and Fabianski threw one in the net at West Ham the year before. So we've actually had a bit of luck. So
it does. I'm obviously being facetious, but good luck to the guy. I just hope he doesn't have a good game tomorrow. We win it, and then good luck to him. Best luck in what he does.
For sure, yeah. Obviously, I don't want to see him play well tomorrow, but I wish no ill on the guy. I hope he goes on.
He seems a real pro, doesn't he? He seems a real pro,
and he's and he's a fighter too. I mean, he came through the US college system. He wasn't even drafted, and to come from that, be US #1 and play in the Premier League. I mean, good on you, fella.
Never pulled up a stink about being second choice. Never made a big deal about it. You can't blame the guy if he's seen an opportunity to go and be first team goalkeeper somewhere else. No, there's no ill will or anything to us. I think good luck to him, really.
Well, this is perfection for him, right? Like it couldn't have worked out any better. So he's got to come over, play for Arsenal for a year, play in the Europa League for a bit. I mean, sure, he'd like to have gone further in it, but he got to play in the Europa League, and now he's got to move to a Premier League club. Like, if you were going to script it, this is how it would have gone down.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe you could argue for us as well, the way it's turned out.
I think so.
We've got a sum which was more than what we paid for him. We brought an upgrade in second goalkeeper. Yes, there's a whole issue about the dynamic between the first and the second goalkeeper. But the fact remains is we've strengthened our goalkeeping area. So I think it's a classic win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So I think, obviously same as normal, we want an early goal tomorrow, settle everyone down, start playing a little bit. I can't wait for it. It's an early start tomorrow for us. It feels like I don't know. It feels like yesterday that the season ended, but it feels like a million years ago since I last watched us play in a proper game.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. Even though it wasn't that long ago, it does seem a while ago, that season, and it was actually just an odd season anyway because of the World Cup and all of that stuff. So I think it would be nice to have a season which is just a clean season, no COVID related.
Yeah.
No World Cup interference. We've got the African nations, but that was normal in most seasons that we had. So it'd be good to see us now going in strengthened and with just a normal season ahead and Champions League as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier today about the fact that we just haven't had a normal season in God knows how long. It's been what, 3 years, 4 years since we've had a normal season. That last year, that World Cup break. No,
Arteta hasn't had a break, has he? He's just been craziness every single season.
Yeah, it's just gone straight through. So it was nice, and and even this year there wasn't really a very long break. We were still playing competitive club football into not us, but I mean into the middle of June. I think Declan Rice was it June 10th or something, that Conference League final, or June 9th, whatever it was. So it's there's just been no break. So it will be nice to have a normal season with a break at the end of it and a regular regular summer tournament, and we can just all move forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, where are you watching the game tomorrow? Are you just at home?
Well, because like you, it's early, so I won't be drinking. That's for sure. I'll be most likely in bed with the TV on. I'm gonna watch before that. I know you don't watch it that much. So I'll watch part of England Colombia as well, which will be an hour before. But obviously, when Arsenal starts, that's the full attention.
That's Women's World Cup, I'm assuming.
Women's World Cup, England Colombia. Yeah.
What round's that in?
Quarterfinals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it might be a good one. But then Arsenal 7:30. So up for that. I really want to start watching the games in some of the great areas that we have here that are big on Arsenal fans, but not at this time of the day. Not at that time, I should say.
No, we'll do some of the later ones. We'll get ourselves down to Legends in Pembroke Pines for some of the later games. Sort of
absolutely,
Lauderdale boys.
Absolutely, they're hardcore, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just can't do the 7:30. Do you know what I mean? Like it's too early.
It's too hard, especially if you have a night out. Before.
Yeah.
So, it's and then also after that you want to watch the other games, and you kind of just want to wind into your Saturday. But yeah, it's just going to be at home. Do you know what? I feel I like watching in public places, but I always feel Arsenal do badly when I watch in public places. I don't know if you have that problem.
Well, we've got a pretty bad record.
We've got a terrible record.
I mean, I think since the FA Cup final against Villa, I don't think me and you have watched us win in a bar, right? Like when was the last time? I mean, we got smashed by Spurs in the game where Rob Holding went nuts, got sent off early doors. I watched that in Freddie's Anchor Bar with the Fort Lauderdale boys.
We saw the Europa final.
Yep.
Remember?
Yep.
And they got battered.
Yep. Europa final, we got battered. I remember us watching Chelsea. The 6-0 game, the Gibbs and Ox getting missed. That was we were at somewhere in Boca.
Same place.
Yeah. So.
And at my place, you came to mine. We watched Liverpool get battered by Liverpool.
We've not got a good record. So I think that it's one of two things, right? We either need to avoid it completely, or we've got to end this hoodoo quick.
Yeah, I think we've got to do the latter.
Yeah, we just got.
I think there's enough confidence now to win one game of the ones we go.
Yeah, because we're on a bad streak here, so we've got
a terrible one. We're like Arsenal, Man City before the Charity Shield.
So you confident for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm confident. I can't see us not winning that game. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, not at all. But beginning of the season, we've had enough preseason now. Our new signings have, they're more involved now. I think the Charity Shield gave us a good idea of how we can play. We're at home. You have to think we're going to go in and win that. I'm confident we will.
Yeah, I agree with you. Opening day at home, it's nice. It's a good fixture. I mean, hopefully, I would really, really like to see Havertz get a goal tomorrow. I'd really like to see Havertz start off well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would do him the world of good. Because I, like you, I saw a lot of positives from his performance in the Community Shield. I think his hold-up play generally was good. I think he dropped quite a lot, dropped deep, tried to do as much as what Jesus does for us. Maybe he hasn't. I think it's a lot to do with his size. He looks a bit gangly, and therefore you have this impression he could be a bit clumsy or whatever. But I thought his involvement and bringing others into play was excellent. And the fact remains, I remember they used to always say this about, someone who's a striker. They always say getting in the right positions. He seems to do that. He does get in the right positions. The problem is just the finish. I think if he can get a goal, it will do wonders for him. I like the aerial threat he brings as well, which I think helps.
And he was a bit unlucky in the Charity Shield, wasn't he? I mean, it wasn't like he blazed the ball 50 yards over the bar or anything like that. It was a good save from that second one when he controlled it, turned and hit it I mean, he got it on target. It was a good stop.
Yeah, that one I didn't really have too much qualms with because I think he took it, swiveled, turned. It was the second one I thought you've got to put that away. I think it was just a weak shot. He needed to place it hard, low. That would have been a goal. That was the only one I would have said, and that seems to relate to confidence for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think it's, and the other thing is the microscope is on him. Like the best chance of that game was actually Bukayo Saka, who completely missed an air shot from about 4 yards when he should have been tapping it in. And we don't point at that because it's Bukayo Saka, and we know that the next time that happens, the ball's going to go in the net. With Havertz, I feel like it was a bit like, remember when Sir Dennis didn't score for the first 7 games?
Yeah,
it just built and it built and it built because we didn't. It wasn't even us really. It was the press and other fans, but we didn't really know him at that point. So it was just nervy, getting worse. And I really don't want that to happen with Havertz. Henry had something similar too when he arrived. It was
when he first
he had
arrived,
a little drought like that. And
even Jesus last season was getting a lot of that.
Yeah, and I really want to see Havertz get a goal and just get him, get himself flowing and really see what he can do, because this is a really, really big move for us, really. I mean, we've gone to reshape the midfield around him, so we need him to work.
I also feel that with him, one of the because your analogy there with Bergkamp is quite an interesting one, because there was this feeling that Bergkamp needed to score, when actually later on we realized that Bergkamp was really a number 10. He wasn't a number 9. That was Ian Wright. Ian Wright was a number 9. He was not the out-and-out goal scorer. But what happens is you then, because he scored that goal, your mind eases and understands his role a lot more. That's the problem, I think, with Havertz, because it's not been defined enough. And he's not. Once he scores a few goals, I think all the other stuff gets recognized a lot more. So that's why it's so important to just break your duck and just get it done. Because then I think it's a lot easier for him to be appreciated for a lot of the other stuff that he can do in this team.
But that's where, again, the kind of comparison with Bergkamp works, because again, he's come in from a bad time at Chelsea, and Bergkamp had a bad time at Inter Milan. There was a little bit of doubt around whether he could do it. It's the same thing here again with Havertz, and I just think that goal will just lift him. I remember Bergkamp. I remember that goal against Southampton. Right, I was there that day when he scored the 2 goals, and it just, the whole ground, the feeling of everything just lifting off his shoulders, and he just took off from that point on. And I really feel like Havertz can do that. This is a fresh start, but to be a fresh start, the rest of the baggage that's with him has got to be left behind. And I just feel like he can't do that until he scores.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he's. It seems to be the part which is kind of the monkey off his back. I do think it will come though, but you got to feel Forest at home. Who have we got? We got Palace away and Fulham at home. Is it Fulham at home?
Yep.
Those home games are those opportunities for him, because if you're going to have more space, you're going to be at home. He's got to capitalize on that, and I agree. I think once that happens, you might see a very different player to the ones that we've been seeing. The one that we've been seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I can't wait really to see this all work in action. And Forest are going to obviously sit deep and dig in tomorrow, right? And we're going to have to break them down. It's one of them things where if you can get an early goal, it really, really helps you with that. And if we can draw them out and get some space in behind, I think we can really do some damage again. I just want to start this season off well.
And it goes back to your point, as cliched as it is, but it's getting that early goal, because you get an early goal against a team like Forest, then the floodgates open, don't they? Because they're invariably they're going to come a little bit more forward. They're going to expose themselves at the back. That's when we start to creep in. So just getting that early goal, I think, will make a big, big difference. And then we can ease into it. And hopefully by the time he makes subs, we're already in a quite, good lead, so that therefore those subs and the bringing on fresh legs and all that makes sense. But it is really important to get off to a good start. I'm not talking 5-0. I'm not talking any of that, but just convincing enough where you come out of it and think, yeah, we're back again.
And it'd be nice to get some more minutes in Declan Rice's legs as well. I think he looks like a player that came back late at the minute, and you've seen glimpses of the power and glimpses of the pace and the stamina that we've bought, but he's not quite there yet. So it'll be good to get some more minutes into his legs so that he's basically ready when the tougher fixture comes. I can see him coming off tomorrow, on like the hour. I think he'll start, but I can see him coming off around the hour tomorrow, get a nice round of applause.
I think they'll be easing in with him. When we look at it now, what a good move it was to get him in early. I know we talked about this before, but you can see now with what's going on around and this kind of clamour to get someone in. We're not in that, and we've got someone who's already now got a few games. He's going to still take a bit more time to get in, but we're ahead of those other teams that desperately need those players in to cover that void, especially in the defensive midfield department. So I just think it's only a matter of time with him. And you might be right. He could come off at 60, 70 minutes, just purely so we can have fresh legs, especially if we're having Partey and him together. Then one of them might need to make way to open the game up a bit. But I've no doubt about him. And thank God we got him, because it just shows you his mentality is exactly what we need at this club. Talks were 6 months earlier, and he stuck to his word and came to us. So I think we've got the full package there.
Yeah, I think when it comes to that, I think it's to be commended. He could have gone to City and he could have just picked up some medals, been a cog in the machine, played there for 4 or 5 years, then moved on somewhere else. He could have done that, but that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to be part of something. He knows that winning one title with us, he's worth more than 5 with that, lab-built fucking cheating machine in Manchester. Like it's a completely different animal winning with us and winning with them. And I think that's to be commended. That shows character, wanting to do that. He's come for a challenge, not just to coast.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because it's again another example of us maybe going for one player, but I wouldn't say lost out per se, but maybe saw that's probably not the one we want to go for, and then pivot to exactly the right player. So,
you're talking about Caicedo?
I'm talking about him, yeah.
See, so I see that a little bit differently, because I think if we'd have signed Caicedo in January, I think we would still have signed Rice.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do. I think Rice was the primary target. I think we knew we couldn't get Rice in January because obviously the Whammers were in a relegation battle, as well as still being in the Conference League. I don't think that was possible. I think we thought we could get Caicedo, which is why we went for him. I think there was a limit to where we would have gone for Caicedo. I'm not sure there was a limit to where we would have gone for Rice. And that's the bit that makes it interesting for me, because I think had Man City come back, I think we would have gone back again for Rice. I just think we were signing Rice, whatever, this summer.
Well, why don't you think we went in for Caicedo then after?
Because I think that Caicedo was basically an addition to Rice, and we would have done him last January. I think once we got Rice, then Caicedo was off the table. But I don't think Caicedo would have taken Rice off the table, but Rice takes Caicedo off the table. I mean, that's basically...
I mean, I'm being speculative. I'm not going by anything substantial. It was just what I thought and interpreted that situation. But it's also possible what you're saying as well.
Well, I read that this thing with Rice didn't start 6 months ago. It started 18 months ago, was when the first contact was made with Declan Rice. And this has been built since then. We knew we couldn't get him last summer. We knew we weren't going to be. And let's be fair, 2 years ago, we wouldn't even been in the running for a player like Declan Rice. We wouldn't have even been in the running. But that's when this started. That's when
it would make sense, because he's evidently seen how we have progressed. So he's been looking. So Arteta's probably given him the talk, sold Arsenal. And over that 18 months, he said, well, you know what? He's actually exactly what he said is happening. They are improving. this is a team that is going places. So, and with the Champions League as well, the season just gone, I think that then, was like the icing on the cake for him, because he had made it very clear, I believe, in December time that, Champions League football is very appealing to him. So yeah, that would absolutely make sense.
Yeah. And the other new boy, Julian Timber, what are you expecting to see from him tomorrow? I've noticed he plays that role a little bit differently to Zinchenko. He does,
he does.
But he doesn't invert anywhere near as much. He tends to stay a little bit wider. That might be interesting because it might allow Martinelli to come a little bit more central when Timber goes outside of him. What are you expecting from him tomorrow?
I think it'll be much of the same what we saw in the Community Shield, and I think I feel his lack of maybe inversion in that particular role, it's probably to do with just, again, my observation is probably the reason why Partey and Rice are together, because Zinchenko will obviously offer that extra man in midfield. In the case of Timber, it probably won't be as prevalent. So therefore, having those two to control the tempo in the middle of the park is going to be more important than it would be perhaps if Zinchenko was there. I'm expecting very much of the same of what we saw. I think he's tidy on the ball. He's got a good pass in him, but he's also defensively astute. So I'm hoping for a good performance from him. Listen, if he can, in his opening game, again, it was a friendly, it is the Community Shield, but it was against Man City. If he can put in a performance like that, I've no doubt he can show up against Nottingham Forest at home.
I agree with you about the difference between him and Zinchenko with the midfield area as well. I think that might be another reason why Havertz goes up top tomorrow rather than in that midfield role. Zinchenko gives you a lot more interior cover. He gives you a lot more interior support. And not only that, but no Jesus up there as well makes it difficult for whoever's in that midfield role. So it might just be playing Havertz there when he's almost on an island because you don't have Jesus in front of him and you don't have Zinchenko behind him. That's not the role that he was brought in for, right? Havertz, He was brought to play. He was brought to get close to Jesus and link with Jesus, and with Zinchenko linking with Zinchenko behind him. So if if neither of them are there, he can't play that role that he was brought in to play. So I think you're right. I agree with you on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing Timber play again.
It also speaks to the fact of, because I was thinking the other day, how come, I know, you weren't the biggest fan of Tielemans, but I was thinking, free, he could go in the 8 role and, could have an influence in the team. But you see, the reason why he probably opted for Havertz is obviously that midfield aspect, but that he can play up top, that he can play on the wing. So the variation, I think, really suits Mikel. He really likes players who can adapt to different roles in emergency situations like the one that we have now.
A lot more physically gifted than Tielemans as well. I mean, this is something that I think we need to look at because a lot of our last few signings have had that physical stature about them, right?
Yeah.
Havertz is faster than Tielemans. He can run for longer than Tielemans. He
tracks back,
closes down and tracks back, and he's obviously 6'3", 6'4". So it's I think that physical profile was a lot better. It's not that I dislike Tielemans. I just don't think Tielemans is at the level of a Champions League club in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's all it is with Tielemans. He's just a level below. Like, I don't think Tielemans gives you anything that Emil Smith-Rowe can't. I just don't think he does.
Yeah.
So I think, point. I think with Havertz, I think the physicality is a big part of it. And, we might see that tomorrow because the odds are we're going to have some corners, right? Because we're going to be attacking a lot. So you may well see them big boys going up in the box. Declan Rice is a big lad. You're obviously, Timber, I'm guessing, has played centre-half before, so I'm guessing he can head a ball. So that'll be interesting to watch our set pieces, especially after the way we fell off last year on set pieces at both ends. I'm quite intrigued to see what we come up with tomorrow with that.
Yeah, it's that's going to be really interesting to see this season in general, because it's one thing we've already talked about yesteryear that we lacked was just that presence. I think this is going to be this season. We're seeing a lot more presence in that box. Gabriel's great with headers as well. Saliba's starting to get more involved with that. He's no slouch, and also he's not small in any way. So I think you're going to see a different, which we've talked about, because we sometimes want to vary our play a little bit. We might need to go a bit long sometimes. We might need to be a bit more direct. We have players to suit that now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some variation in play for sure. I mean, last year it did feel like we did what we did, and when that didn't work, we did it again. And I think that this year we're going to have we're going to have some more options, and just different play styles. We can go a bit longer if we want. We can put crosses in the box if we want. So I do think that that's different. So, all right, mate. Well, I'm going to let you go there. It's been a good one. Have you got anything you want to add?
Predictions for tomorrow? You got a prediction for score?
We can do predictions if you want. It's not usually my favourite thing, but go on, give us your prediction.
Not that I'll hold it against you in any way. I'm going 3-0.
You're going 3-0. You're going to give me some scorers?
All right. This is more hope. Havertz to get 1, and I'm going to go with 2 from Saka.
All right. I'm going to go 6-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's and I'm Forest?
I'm going to go with a couple from Saka, couple from Havertz, and I'm going to go with a goal from Gabriel, and then Trossard coming off the bench.
Is that brace from Saka anything to do with that you've got him as captain in your fantasy league?
You noticed that, did you? I need to make up the points because everyone else captain Haaland.
Well, I'm playing you in the head-to-head.
Oh, really? I haven't looked at the head-to-head.
That little league of 5 people that we have.
Yeah. So, yes, that is a little bit biased towards that because when Haaland scored his second night, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, a million people
captained him.
I'm the only one who hasn't. So come on, Bakayo, if you're listening, and I know you listen, I need you to get a couple tomorrow.
I'm all right with that.
All right, mate. Well, thanks a lot. Enjoy your night. Don't go too mad because you've got to get up early in the morning.
You too, mate.
All right, mate. Speak to you later.
Take care. Bye.